In this video, we are going to talk about a security concept, honeypot. Honeypot is a trap, an electronic bait. The development of honeypots began in the early 90s and were used all over the world in the early 2000s. Honeypot is a computer system where network resources that appear to be a part of the network but have been set up to attract and capture people who attempt to penetrate these computer systems. Honeypot is intentionally made to appear vulnerable to lure attackers away from actual targets, and their behaviors, tools, and techniques will be gathered, which can then be used to strengthen security measures. From this diagram, we can see traffic from the internet is first filtered by a firewall, which acts as the first line of defense by blocking unauthorized access, and then the switch is connected to two separated networks. One is the honeynet, which consists of multiple honeypots represented by the yellow cloud, and the other is the line. The honeynet, a decoy network, employs various tactics such as business replication, vulnerability emulation, and data desensitization, and the documentation of hacker activities. There are a lot of benefits of using honeypots in defending organizations' cybersecurity. As decoy setups, they distract attackers, wasting their time on false vulnerabilities, thereby safeguarding actual production systems. Since honeypots typically do not carry legitimate business traffic, activities targeting them are likely malicious, minimizing false alarms, and attackers' behavior patterns can also be gathered. Plus, honeypots serve as real-world training grounds for security teams without risking vital systems.
Here is an example. This is a real dataset that shows how honeypots can be used to analyze threat intelligence, thus helping organizations strengthen their security. According to the shared results from Outpost 24 research team, there are three key findings. First, brute force attacks were the most repeated. Second, the default criteria were counted over 5.5 million times in brute force attempts. Finally, port 445 and 22 were the most targeted ports. Also, there is a table showing top 10 username and password combinations. If you are using this username and passwords, be careful. The above results help us understand the most common attack methods used by attackers, which leads to better security.
Honeypots are categorized by purpose, interaction level, and deployment. Production honeypots define live networks, detecting threats in real time, while research honeypots analyze attacks for insights. Interaction levels vary from low, like simple FTP service emulation, to high, with complex honeypots engaging attackers. Lastly, deployment can be either physical or virtual. A physical honeypot is a real machine with its own IP address. A virtual honeypot is a simulated machine in a virtualization environment such as VMware, with model behaviors to attract attackers.
Here are top 20 plus honeypots for identifying cybersecurity threats. There are as many honeypots as there are types of software running, so creating a definitive list would be quite difficult. This list included some of the most popular honeypots. SSH honeypots like Keepo and Covert are honeypots to emulate the SSH service. Keepo is the most popular median interaction SSH honeypot. It can log brute force attacks and the entire shell interaction performed by the attacker. HTTP honeypots such as Glassstop, Nodepot, and Google Hack Honeypot are effective tools for detecting web application attacks. Database honeypots like Elastic Honey, HoneyMySQL, and MongoDB Honey Proxy are specialized tools designed to detect and mitigate attacks targeting specific database systems, such as Elasticsearch, MySQL, and MongoDB. WordPress honeypots, like Formidable honeypots, Black Hole for Bad Bots, and WordPots, are designed to attract and monitor malicious activity targeting WordPress websites, helping to identify and mitigate security threats specific to WordPress platform. Email honeypots like Honeymail, Mailoni, and SpamHack are effective tools for detecting and preventing SMTP-based attacks, logging email activity, and protecting against spam. IoT honeypots like Honeysync and Taco are designed to detect and simulate attacks targeting various IoT devices by emulating vulnerabilities and capturing attacking information through protocols such as Telnet, HTTP, and HTTPS. Also, there are other honeypots that detects shellcodes across various protocols, while Miniprint captures printer-based attacks with deep logging, and Honeypot FTP tracks credentials and uploads in FTP sessions. As you may notice, honeypots are also widely used in IoT. The big difference in our life compared to past is how connected to our electronic devices are. These devices, called the Internet of Things, help manage our daily lives to make things easier at work. But with all this connectivity, there is also a higher risk of data breaches. Just before Mobile World Congress 2019, security researchers launched a project. They deployed 50 honeypots across 10 countries, running throughout the 4-day event and beyond. Their goal was to see how many connections attacks would try to make with these honeypots, hoping to uncover vulnerability data. In the end, the team recorded 23.2 million potential attacks. According to their results, 3 ports were scanned most often: Chromecast streaming devices and Google Smart Home Speaker, port 8088, Telnet port 22, and SSH port 23, which are often present in the routers. However, IoT devices often have limited hardware capability, which means hard to implement powerful security mechanisms. But we can reduce security level of that system to attract bad guys, which is honeypots.
In previous slide, we already listed all benefits of using honeypot, while some disadvantages cannot be neglected, which include risk of system compromise if not properly isolated, the potential of misinformation if attackers identify the honeypot and deliberately feed it false information, and the limitation in data scope means that simple decoy setups may not reflect more sophisticated threats. Additionally, a high interact honeypot is complex and resource-intensive to install and maintain. Then some researchers propose some automation plan for easily automated deployment and management. For example, Duke University STNGAR project developed a CHN, full name is Community Honey Network, which allows for quick command line setups by using Docker and Docker Compose. This architecture diagram illustrates the CHN application integration. CHN deploys and manages query honeypots to collect malicious data, which is then distributed via the HPFees protocol to the CIF Threat Intelligence Framework. It also sends attack logs to HPFees logger containers for local record keeping or to other applications through a bridge container for further analysis or action, all within a span of seconds.